Wake, work, break, suffer. In my new book, brought to you by ExxonMobil and Amazon sweatshops, I will teach you how to lean into becoming a mindless cog in a white supremacist capitalism. And you can finally show all those old men on the board at work that conventionally attractive white women can be parasites of the working class too. Welcome to Daily Metal, where every day a different metal album gets dissected for your sadistic listening pleasure. I'm the heavy metal lawyer, Emma, and in this show I'll talk about why the music in these albums is so good and where they fall in the history of music's most wretched genre. On August 24, 2018, Jesus Peace brought out the voice of the abyss to destroy its listeners with the album Only Self. My last video on Knocked Loose talked a little bit about the 2010s hardcore and slam scenes and the importance of festivals like This Is Hardcore, and not only is Jesus Peace part of that scene, but they are also hometown heroes of Philadelphia, as in the city of no one likes us, no one likes us, no one likes us, we don't care. We're from Philly, fucking Philly, no one likes us, we don't care. The city has one of the biggest hardcore scenes in the country, in addition to being the home of This Is Hardcore Fest, and bands outside the White Boys Club that don't get enough love, like Here's, I'm wearing my Here's shirt today, S21, Solarized, and Soul Glow. Okay, Soul Glow have gotten a lot of love recently, but hey, it can never be enough love for a band that good. Anyways, at some point I do want to do a deep dive on the Philly hardcore scene, but ideally that'd be with a guest who is actually part of the scene, so much of that knowledge is just word of mouth stuff, and also I don't visit Philly as much as I used to due to a very embarrassing New Year's I spent there. Ugh. But this video is instead going to focus on the vocals of Jesus Peace provided by charismatic frontman Aaron Hurd. When recommending Jesus Peace to a friend once, I referred to Aaron as the Paul Robeson of hardcore, and that's a comparison I'm going to stand by. Hurd has ridiculously deep baritone vocals for a hardcore singer. Check out the track Neuro Prison on Only Self, one of my favorite songs on the album. His standard range for vocals is already so low, and then when he screams, "stood still in a neuro prison," which I'm not even going to try to imitate, he goes even lower. It's nuts. The Paul Robeson comparison might also be apt because of the lyrics lashing out against the nightmare of modern capitalist life, like in the song Workhorse, where Aaron screams, "wake, work, break, suffer," as an Orwellian mantra before rebelliously responding, "Workhorse, when will you work for yourself?" Before this video, I wanted to dig into the history of baritone-level deep vocals in hardcore and metal music. Going to the roots of hardcore music, you mostly find vocalists in higher registers, not high registers, but higher than a baritone, which makes sense because, simply put, there are actually very few true baritone singers, and so for plucky DIY bands, they went with whatever was available, and probability just ruled out deep vocals. It's hard to find exceptions, and even thrash metal in the 1980s generally had vocalists who did not have super deep voices. Where this really started to change was in the early 1990s with the rise of death metal. Barney Greenway joined Napalm Death and put out their album Harmony Corruption with his pretty deep register, and Devourment was paving the way for slam death metal with the ridiculous voice of Mike Majewski. For a while, deep and guttural vocals were mostly found in death metal and death metal adjacent subgenres like grindcore. How these vocals wound up appearing in hardcore bands like Jesus Peace was due, I believe, to the rise of deathcore in the 2000s, with vocalists realizing that an extremely deep scream can serve the same purpose as down-tuning guitars and palm muting for making the breakdowns in hardcore songs as brutal as possible. Check out the track Empathy for Leviathan off the album Depths by Oceano and listen to the breakdown at the end of the song. Adam Warren's deep vocals perfectly match these abysmal sounds from the palm-muted, down-tuned guitars getting slower and slower. Which does bring me to a question. Adam Warren is a big dude. There's a reason why the song is called Empathy for Leviathan. So I can understand how he has that deep voice, and of course Paul Robeson was literally a football player, so he was also a really big dude. But as far as I can tell, and I've never met him in person, Aaron Hurd from Jesus Peace is not a big dude. He just looks like pretty average build. And his speaking voice doesn't seem that deep either, so where the hell do these vocals come from? It's got to be some kind of Faustian bargain. But hey, if that's what it takes to make albums like Only Self, sounds like it's a good deal. Who's your favorite ultra-deep voice in hardcore or metal music? Let me know in the comments, and if you like this video, please subscribe so you can find out what the metal album of the day is, why it is so brutal, and where it fits in the history of the genre.